Welcome back to the second installment of the most popular cases of lost media. Come with me as we delve into In my last video, I spoke about a piece of lost media called Ulterior Motives, also known as Everybody Knows That. For anyone who is not familiar with this piece of lost media, it was a snippet of a song posted to whatsthatsong.com back in 2021 by a user named Carl92. After it was posted, there was an extensive search all over the internet. Finally, on April 28, 2024, it was found in the most unexpected of places. The song was found in its entirety in an adult film called Angels of Passion, made in 1986. After the song's discovery, the authors of this song were found to be Christopher St. Booth and Philip Adrian Booth, who had no idea that their song was being looked for and that it had become so popular. Finding this piece of lost media has been one of the biggest finds of 2024.
We'll go and see the Cracks again someday.
Cracks, or Crackmaster, was an animated short from the popular children's television show Sesame Street, and first aired on December 31st, 1975, but abruptly stopped airing 5 years later in 1980. In the short, a narrator tells a story about a girl who has to stay inside on a rainy day. During the day, to pass the time, the girl fantasizes about the crack creatures that she sees in the cracks in the walls of her house. The crack creatures, which consist of a camel, a hen, and a monkey, come to life and befriend the girl. The girl and her new friends investigate the mysterious sounds coming from her attic, thinking that they might meet a new friend. Instead, what they find is an unnerving and distorted face, only referred to as the Crackmaster, who angrily yells at the group before crumbling to the ground. At this point, the narrator explains that the Crackmaster destroyed himself trying to be mean. By the end of the short, the rain had stopped, and the girl goes outside to play, promising to go and see the Cracks again someday. The short was all but forgotten until the late 2000s, when a man named John Armand remembered the short as a kid and spearheaded a search that led him to obtaining a copy of the short in 2009. Even though Armand had the short, he was not allowed to distribute or upload it in any way. The short was finally found in 2013, when the founder of the Lost Media Wiki, Diekate, was sent a copy by an anonymous source. There have been many reasons speculated on why the short stopped airing in 1980. From the unsettling imagery and undertones, to the emerging use of the word crack as a shortening for the word cocaine in the 1970s. Considered one of the worst movies ever produced, Foodfight is an animated film made in 2012 with a star-studded cast, including Charlie Sheen, Wayne Brady, Christopher Lloyd, and Eva Longoria. The development of the film is infamously known to have taken a very long time and gone through numerous hurdles. Production of the movie started in 2000, and from the very beginning there were complications. By 2004, the hard drives containing the unfinished film were mysteriously stolen, and the future of the film looked uncertain. The film's production was completely restarted in 2005, and by 2012 the film was released. It was a commercial failure, only grossing about $75,000 on a budget of $45 to $65 million. The original film that was stolen was never recovered, and remains to be seen to this day. However, in 2024 there was a big breakthrough in the search for the original film. In May of this year, concept art, early assets, a behind-the-scenes video, and even the complete workprint of the original film were found on the Internet Archive by a person named Ziggy Kashmir.
Everything's coming up straight.
In 2007, YouTube user Jankum Sheik uploaded this video from a low-quality VHS rip of a then-unknown cartoon. Over the next couple of years, the same user uploaded 2 more videos, which would become to be known as the Pink Morning cartoon. The only things that the user could recall is that it was broadcast in Columbus, Ohio, and that it aired early in the mornings, sometime in the late 90s or early 2000s. After some digging, it was found that the cartoon was produced by a religious satellite broadcast provider called Sky Angel. and was part of a programming block called TV8 Kids Fun Festival. There was another breakthrough when in a Q&A with Moria Ork, it was concluded that the most likely channel that the Pink Morning cartoon aired on was WGCT or WINJ, and was produced by a local woman named Ella Flowers, who owned the TV station from 1998 to 2006. It looked like the investigation for the elusive Pink Morning cartoon was coming to a successful end. That is until it was found that Ella Flowers, producer of the Pink Morning cartoon, died in 2017. Later, in another Q&A with Ella Flowers' granddaughter, she stated that all of the tapes that her grandmother had likely had been destroyed by a cousin, and that the only footage that still exists is the videos that are on YouTube. Although there haven't been any new lost media finds regarding Pink Morning cartoon, it was popular in the Columbus area, and maybe someone, somewhere, has some more content just sitting on an old VHS tape in their attic of the elusive Pink Morning cartoon. A Day with SpongeBob is an interesting piece of lost media, as at one point it was one of the most talked about pieces of lost media on the Lost Media Wiki. The original premise of the film says, quote, "In this mockumentary, SpongeBob lives above ground like all Hollywood superstars. Afraid that SpongeBob is becoming old news, his boss runs a contest called Spend a Day with SpongeBob. The contest makes SpongeBob the talk of the town, as thousands of kids enter to win. The lucky winner is Seth. He is ecstatic about his day with SpongeBob. However, the day becomes a roller coaster ride, as things do not go quite the way they planned. The film was originally set for a release date of November 22, 2011, but it wasn't until 2014 that the Amazon posting for the movie was found, and in 2015, the search for A Day with SpongeBob began. The company behind the alleged film, Innovision Films, was found to actually be Regal Films, using one of their many fake names. On top of this, Regal Films' website had a virus on it. This led people to think that Regal Films was a front for a money laundering business. After an extensive search, one of the people who allegedly worked on the film, only known as Mr. Orange, was found and contacted on August 3, 2016. Mr. Orange clarified that Regal Films was not a shady business, and that it was only a film distributor. As of 2016, Mr. Orange still intends to make A Day with SpongeBob, but as of writing this script, there has been no updates or any word on the future of A Day with SpongeBob.
But the wizard did not forget.
Clockman is an animated short that was produced in communist Czechoslovakia in 1976, and an English dub of the short film was made 2 years later. The search for Clockman didn't begin until 2012, when a user named Commander Santa made a post about an obscure and unidentified animated cartoon that he remembered watching in the 1980s. According to Commander Santa, the cartoon consisted of a boy laying on his bed when an unkempt and discolored character, only referred to as the Clockman, kidnaps the boy. After a series of strange adventures, the boy is returned to his room before the sun rises. It was later confirmed that the short aired on the TV channel Pinwheel, which would later become known as Nickelodeon. In the subsequent years, there were many leads and theories pertaining to Clockman. The first major lead came in 2016, when a person named Tippy Fortune was contacted. Fortune was the executive producer of Pinwheel in the early 1980s. If anyone would know where this short would be, then she would be the most likely person to know. When Fortune responded, she said that most of the films from Pinwheel were acquired by Co Films. After a bit of research, it was discovered that the head and founder of Co Films, Bernice Co, had passed away in 2001. She also said that the best hope for finding the lost short was to look through old film catalogs or somehow contact old employees who might still have a copy. All of this searching led to December 10, 2017, when Lost Media Wiki user Nitrate Nerd discovered a YouTube link to the infamous Clockman short, and some days later, Commander Santa confirmed that it was in fact the lost cartoon. In the end, the search for the elusive Clockman cartoon was one of the most well-known and infamous searches in the lost media community. Crybaby Lane was a Halloween horror film that aired on Nickelodeon on October 28, 2000. In the film, two brothers conduct a seance in a local graveyard in an effort to impress a girl. Unbeknownst to the brothers, they release the soul of a dead Siamese twin. Whatever the evil twin touches turns evil. Chaos ensues, and by the next day, one of the brothers gets possessed. The other brother travels to Crybaby Lane and cuts the root out of the heart of the good twin, thus ending both the evil and good twin. After its premiere, it was never aired again due to the outpouring of parents' complaints about the film. There was also a dedicated fan base who wanted to see the film air again, but since it only aired once, finding a copy of the film was almost impossible. To complicate matters further, after the airing, Nickelodeon denied the film even existed in the first place, and claimed the film was just a myth. 10 years later, in 2011, Reddit user Fire Salad Peach claimed that she had a VHS copy of the film from the night it aired. She later uploaded the film to YouTube. The popularity of the YouTube video has been speculated to have prompted Teen Nick to re-air the film on October 31st, 2011, where they promoted the film as Nickelodeon's Dark Secret, and that it was so scary that it was banned from television. The airing of the film proved that Nickelodeon had the film all along. Doctor Who is a TV show that needs no introduction. With more than 50 seasons, across over 60 years, it's no wonder why it's one of Britain's most beloved television shows. In the early days of the series, between 1963 and 1978, the BBC scrapped more than 150 episodes of Doctor Who. The scrapping or wiping of the master tapes goes beyond the standard practice of the time, of seeing no value in old episodes. You see, the two companies in charge of production and archiving the episodes, the BBC Film Library and BBC Enterprises, both thought the other company was properly archiving the television show. It wasn't until the late 1970s that attitudes about destroying old films and TV shows began to change, thanks in part to the advent of home recording, like the VHS. Starting in the 1980s, the BBC began looking for the missing episodes, and over the years, out of the 156 episodes that were lost, only 97 remain as of 2024. With the most recent find in October of 2013. Moving on from lost films and cartoons, we have Yeah Yeah Beebiss 1 for the NES, a lost video game that may or may not even exist. The only mention of Yeah Yeah Beebiss is in the magazine Video Games and Computer Entertainment. You see, in the magazine there was a mail order service called Play It Again, and in the issues from June, July, August, and September of 1989, there was the video game in question. Yeah Yeah Beebiss was never mentioned outside these 4 issues, leading some people to believe that the game was either a copyright trap, a placeholder, an inside joke, or an unlicensed game. Influenced by the popularity of the search for Yeah Yeah Beebiss 1, game company Rigged Games released a video game called Yeah Yeah Beebiss 2 in February of 2022, based on what people think the original game was about, and presented itself as a sequel to the lost game. Turning to the darker side of lost media, if you were around on the internet in the late 2000s or early 2010s, this image was everywhere thanks to the creepypasta that gave the image its name, Jeff the Killer. The image gained its popularity when, as mentioned before, it was posted alongside a creepypasta. Going back further, this image first appeared in 2005 and went by the name prettyface.jpg. Before this well-known image, there was this, less altered image, found on Japanese message boards from the early 2000s. This image is the earliest form of the infamous Jeff the Killer image. One theory that has since been debunked is that the picture was originally a MySpace account profile picture from an account named Katie Robinson, and that she allegedly committed suicide because of the bullying that she endured. But during the investigation into the origins of the Jeff the Killer image, it was discovered that Katie Robinson never even existed, and that the woman in the picture's name is actually Heather, and is alive and well. She has also insisted that she has nothing to do with the Jeff the Killer image or the bizarre internet rumors surrounding her supposed death. The search for the origin of the Jeff the Killer image remains to be solved to this day. Ending this video on a lighter note, we have the Backrooms image. Originally posted on May 12, 2019 on 4chan, the Backrooms image spawned an entirely new category of games and basically invented the concept of liminal spaces. The original poster requested more images that just felt off, and in the replies, another user commented what would become the concept of the Backrooms. After some searching, the image was found on 4chan dated April 8, 2018, with the description of creepy image. This was the earliest date that anyone could find the image on the internet. But what's interesting is that the file name for the image is a Unix timestamp, which when translated gives us the date of July 15, 2012, which has been theorized to be the first time the person saved the image, meaning that it is from at least 2012. With the knowledge that the image was from at least 2012, Lost Media users combed through 4chan threads from 2010 to 2012 and finally came across this image of the Backrooms from March 8, 2011. The file name for this picture is DSC00161, which implies that the image is the original upload and not a repost by someone else. People then took the file name of that version of the picture of the Backrooms, which led them to a link to a website called hobbytownoshkosh.com. And when the link was put into the Wayback Machine, the original image of the Backrooms was discovered, posted in 2004. As it turns out, Hobbytown Oshkosh was a raceway and was undergoing renovations at the time, and one of the images they posted was now the infamous Backrooms image. Thank you for watching my video. If there are any of these pieces of lost media in this video that you'd like to see a whole separate video on, please let me know in the comments. There is definitely a lot more to say about them, as I had to shorten and paraphrase a lot of information, but I wouldn't mind doing a deep dive into one of these topics. I hope you all have a lovely day and take care. I'll see you guys in the next one.